at, hold on a second, get really good at basic AI concepts, learn how to use PyTorch, learn how to use neural nets, learn about word-to-vec, word embeddings. Let me actually make a list. What to learn to be a successful, competitive, not even gonna say successful, to be a competitive, modern software dev. Python, JavaScript, Node.js. Reasons: most data analysis, statistics, and neural networks use this language. Neural networking frameworks uses, like, if you're going to be doing anything in the AI world, you gotta use Python. Learn NumPy and PyTorch and Transformers library. Hugging Face libraries. Get really used to using Hugging Face libraries 100%. Sai, listen to this. This is what you need to learn. Just to make it simple, I just want to say NumPy, PyTorch, Transformers. Transformers is a pip packages. These are the pip packages for you. PyPy packages for you. Learn JavaScript and Node.js. And actually, let me just say, and React. Learn how to build websites front to back. With React, you can learn React Native and be able to build apps front to back. For JavaScript, learning front end, you will never have to pay anyone for front end ever again. Node.js, oh yeah, so like, let me actually put this out. So you want Node.js and some database, MongoDB, or I'm actually gonna make a clip of this. This is important. This is like more important than the Node.js primer. So if you want to be a competitive, modern, if you want to be an independent, an indie dev, that's a better way of saying it. You want to be an indie dev and build what you want when you want to, this is what you should learn, in my opinion. The reason why I'm saying Node.js is because there's so many frameworks that allow you to have speed. Say that again. Node.js gives you speed. This is speed to the market. Understand what I'm saying? So when I'm showing you Node.js, I'm showing you how to, also web scraping, GOATED. When I'm showing you Node.js, I'm showing you how to get your own data better than anyone else, which is important. And I'm also showing you how to get to the market faster. Okay? And Python Flask can do it too, but I'm saying once you start hiring for people, Next.js, TypeScript, all these things, this is what everyone's training to do. So you should probably position, and it's also very quick, it's very easy And as we were talking about with its single-threaded non-blocking nature, it's easy to have high performance and entry with Node.js. It just is. If you were going to say, oh no, Golang's slower to develop. It's obviously faster processing. It's slower to develop. You want to learn, and it could be Vue or Vue. I would suggest only React or Vue, just because Vue is like awesome and React is awesome, and Vue took its fundamentals from React. So, but here's the thing, you know what everyone spends money on? How I make money? Building out wireframes. Building out your designs. That's like, if you don't know how to build out your designs, you're going to be spending money on it. You want to do that, or do you want to build it yourself? Or do you want to at least have the knowledge on how to build it yourself? Okay, and if you have this stack right here, this is the GOATED stack. This is the GOATED stack. What's this video's called? Maybe. The GOATED engineer stack for being an indie dev. If you want the stack for being able to be an indie dev, you have to learn these things. Word to Vec. That's in GenSim. Learn Word to Vec. Learn transformers. Learn PyTorch, NumPy. Not in that order. You should learn PyTorch above everything. You should just 100% vanilla CSS over vanilla HTML CSS over React for fundamentals. Yeah, no, you should. Okay, you have to learn HTML CSS fundamentals. I should be very clear. If you can't do any of this if you don't have fundamentals. Yeah. You have to. You shouldn't do React if you don't have HTML CSS fundamentals. You shouldn't even like touch it, because it's just going to be too complicated. You should be able to make any site in HTML CSS before you touch React or Vue. And then you get into your JavaScript and your React or your Vue. This is the GOATED engineer stack. So like, if you so here's why this is so important. This is the meat of it. AI is happening. AI is super important. It's not just important in terms of like, plug in Llama 2 and then make $1 million or whatever. It's important because I really should get into this part. So why is this the GOAT stack? So this is why this is the GOAT stack. We started, I said this in another stream, but I'm going to say it again because I'll make a clip of this. We started with Web 1.0. We're on Web 2.0. We're now on Web 3.0. Now you can debate me all day about this, but I'm telling you, this is the truth, okay? AI is here to stay. It's always been here to stay. And right now, there's very, very high level data scientists, machine learning engineers, people at the tippy top that are manufacturing very large ecosystems to ensure that AI is the future. And I'm not saying that they're successful or not. They are successful because you're using AI right now. Okay? So that's a reality. Web 1.0. The 90s. The 90s time. Everyone was having a good time in the 90s. Everyone was chilling. The web was the web. What's a good way to put it? There was a flood to move brick and mortar, I can't spell, to the web. Checkout systems, basic front ends for businesses and addresses, address books, basic, you know, what's a good example? Basic bulletin board systems, first foray into user generated content. That's the 90s. In the 90s and early 2000s, early aughts, you have everyone's moving towards this new web ecosystem. And you have a ton of people that are discovering that actually this is really good for my business if at any time someone can just look me up and I can tell them my URL and they can actually check things out anywhere in the world. You have email, you have all these systems, this foundation for the web being built. So what happened? The weebs came. The dorks. User generated content. We all in the 2000s, mid 2000s to mid 2010s, late 2010s, we have a situation where people just keep making content. You have the prosumer generation. Everyone is making content and consuming content. Feeds are king. You are now the product. That's what happens. So 10, 15 years of data being created, data coming out. So much data, it's insane. We have a situation where so much data is happening that I actually don't even know where we're at right now with it. We're at a point where so much data has been created that you go to your local, like, I don't even know, what do people use? Tumblr? I'm kidding. I know people aren't using Tumblr, but it's like there's so much data that people have to make sense of it. Think about how every single day, how many news articles are getting generated every single day. Think about that. I used to work at news companies. And at these news companies, it was crazy the amount of data. It would be like 200 links a day they were pushing. You know, and these are, you know, like the biggest news companies in the country. There's like hundreds and hundreds of URLs getting pushed every day, and you have on those URLs hundreds and hundreds of people commenting, your boomer Karen aunt commenting on Facebook about it every single day. And you have Twitter threads, comments. You have influencers. You have people making videos, like I'm making a video right now. Videos every day, comment threads being created every day. This has value to people. This has value to the businesses that we were talking about up here that now find value in the web. So what happens with all that data? Then we have big data. Big data and AI. Let's not talk about AI. AI is Web3. I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, Web3 is blockchain. We'll get to that. AI And I'll say your identity. That's it. We're now in a stage of the web where we have to do something with all this data. You've posted a ton of things over years and years and years. Your friends have posted a ton of things in years and years and years. You're now in a graph. I've worked at the companies. I know how this works. You're in a graph, many graphs between all these third-party tools, which makes sense that it'd be third-party tools doing this, because obviously Google wouldn't want to have the same internal tool for this that Netflix does. And that's why when you go to, I have a video where I show this, but when you go to CNN, there's like 300 tracking tools, right? Whenever you go to these tracking tools, what they're doing is they're consolidating your identity. This isn't conspiracy theory, I'm just saying what's happening. Your identity and your behavior metrics are being consolidated, and there's a huge ecosystem around what to do with these people and how to locate them and what dimensions we can use to get the right amount of patterns to sell you the products that we weren't able to sell you in the 90s, or we weren't able to do well. This is a resolution. This is a long story of trying to sell you stuff. And right now, there's a war out there for who and how is going to get this data. Who's going to get the data and how are they going to get it? Because right now you look at Twitter, you look at all these, because those third-party companies, they're not perfect. Netflix is in competition with Google, which is in competition with OpenAI, which is in competition with all these. Everyone's competing over real-world data and how you can map it out in a really good way. That's why OpenAI was such a big, it was like a wrench being thrown into the system, because now you have someone that's actually came around and gotten all this data and actually like made it super small. Like I know it takes a ton to train ChatGPT and all this stuff, but it's actually extremely efficient. You can get like 90% of what Google does for you in an AI model. That's crazy. You think OpenAI is has 90% of the warehouses that Google has? No, it doesn't. So like the power that we're in a phase, this is just to review, this is the reason why this is the GOATED stack for you to learn as an independent engineer, an indie dev, someone who wants to make value with your code in this world. You learn about Python, you learn NumPy, you learn PyTorch, you learn TinyGrad, transformers, you learn the fundamentals of neural networks, you learn about Word2Vec, you learn about word embeddings. And on the front end side, you learn about basic front end, like how to build front ends. You learn the fundamentals of that, HTML, CSS, you learn React, you learn whatever, you pick a framework, get good at it. So you don't have to pay people to build your front ends, or you can at least have the mindset to know what to pay people, right? You learn Node.js. You don't need to, you can do Python Flask and all that, but I suggest you learn Node.js to build your backends for speed to the market, and also to have access to those there's like 1 million people in coding boot camps learning Node that are going to build your product and help you build your product. And also, in my opinion, I would always argue Node.js Puppeteer setup is the best stack to do web scraping, which is the foundation for how you can gain personal power in the Web3 era that we're entering. AI is reinforced by real-world data. You have to know how to get your real-world data. You have to know how to make use of it. You have to know how to train these models. Even if you're going to use Llama 2 and you need to learn how to fine-tune it for your purposes, because your identity and how it's the patterns that are being used to place you And also, when you use Yelp, when you use Google, when you use LinkedIn, we use all these services, your identity and the patterns in which you are behaving and other people are behaving is going to be the foundation of it already is, but it's going to be the foundation of our economy at an extreme level in the future. And there's already talk of this stuff. I'm not even being a conspiracy guy. There's already talk of this stuff happening in the government level of like how people vote, and happening in the, you could see it in Brovid or whatever. You could see it in how the medical world is operating, where maybe people want to start IDing you, you know? I get it, I'm being a conspiracy guy, but I don't know. I do know. But it's super, super important to know how to get your own data and to be able to, you be the one to build the right products, to not do any of that stuff. That stuff's crazy, but to actually provide value to the market. Because the reality is, when I talked a little bit about this on a podcast earlier with my buddy Jack, is that all these top-down things to try to get all your data, and you have like Facebook and like all these companies like coming together to try to get your data and do all this, they're not good at solving your problems. But they have to fill a gap in the market. They just kind of have to. That's their role. So you should, as the common man, be looking at your around and saying, "Oh, I think AI could be used there. I think I could automate this business. I could do this. I could do this." And you build it. You don't offload it to AGI. You learn how to fine-tune your AI model to address your real-world problem. You build it. You build the front end. You build the full stack. You push it out. You figure out how to build, and then eventually you gain that independence because you know everything that you need in order to get done, in order to get to the market. And also you make money along the way. So that's the reason why I think this is the GOATED stack. That's it. And so this is a little tangent, but overall, if you want to learn, the reason why I'm teaching Node.js is that if you want to learn how to really be that 10x, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 1000x engineer, you gotta learn the fundamentals of the you gotta learn how to sneeze. You gotta learn fundamentals. And when you're seeing me code in Node, you gotta learn how Node works. You gotta know why it's important. That's it. Have a good day. Like, subscribe. If you're still here, that's insane. That's crazy. Good job.